guys, I've got another science activity for you to try at home. This one is about preserving food. You're going to need 4 pieces of bread. I have little half-size pieces. 4 containers with lids. I'm using plasticware. You can use whatever you've got that you can put a lid on. Okay, got my lids. You will need vinegar. Any kind is fine. This is the kind I'm using, white vinegar. Salt and water. My sink's right behind me. We're going to put 1 piece of bread in each container. Then we're going to add enough water so that it just covers the top of the bread. We're going to see if we can, we're comparing different ways to keep bread from getting moldy. So we're going to see what happens if we put these materials over the bread and leave it for a few days and see what kind of things start to grow or don't grow over on top of our bread. So, got it here. I'm going to fill it with just enough water to cover the bread up. Okay? Now I'm just using regular tap water. Now my bread is floating in here. Okay? So, but once it soaks up some of that water, it will sink down in. Okay, and then I'm going to put my lid on it. Then the next container, I'm going to cover it with the vinegar. Same as the water, just enough to cover it, and it'll sink once it soaks up the vinegar. Okay, I'll put my lid on that one. You should probably mark your containers in some way so you can tell the difference between the water and the vinegar, because in the containers they look the same, they're both clear. And the only real way to know the difference is to smell them. And once these sit for a few days, you're probably not going to want to smell them. Then in the next one, we're going to cover it with salt. If I can get my salt to open. I don't have to cut my fingernails and now I can't get under it to get it open. So I'm going to use a butter knife to pop it. Maybe. Ha, there it goes. Okay. So I'm going to pour the salt just on top of the bread, just enough to cover it up a little bit. Okay, I know that's kind of hard to see. See there? Just enough to cover the bread. Okay, and then the last one I'm not going to do anything with. I'm just going to put the lid on it and I'm just going to leave it as is. No water, no vinegar, no bread, or no salt, just the bread and the container. Okay, now we're going to leave these for several days and check each day to see if anything has grown in our containers, any kind of molds. Food has yeast in it, which we used to make the bread the other day, and bacteria sometimes, which can sometimes make things grow mold and get unhealthy to eat. I'm sure you've seen mold on vegetables or fruits and things that if you leave them sit too long, they get kind of gray and hairy. Salt and vinegar can kill most of these organisms, so the pieces that are soaked in the jars shouldn't grow mold as quickly as the ones with the water and without anything on top of it. But we'll just have to wait and see. Salt and vinegar are ways that people used to preserve food before refrigerators were invented. So set these aside for a few days and we'll check on them in a couple of days, and you can take some pictures and let me see how moldy your things are growing, and I will share pictures of how mine are growing. Have fun with this activity and we'll see you soon. Bye.